All right. So, White House Down. So, something I realized when going to watch this, I didn't realize this until now, and I've seen this movie like 3 times now, 3 or 4 times. This movie is directed by Roland Emmerich. You don't know Roland Emmerich? He directed a lot of films in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, and a lot of people have problems with his films. I'm not one of them. I actually really like his movies. Let's go through the ones that I own. Universal Soldier. Yep, like it. Stargate. Yep, like it. Independence Day. Like that one. 98 Godzilla. Yep, and I'm not ashamed of it. White House Down. Yes, of course. And even Independence Day Resurgent, everyone shit on, I actually liked. Yes, it's a little kooky. It's a little overcooked, so to speak, but I enjoyed it. And he also executive produced Eight-Legged Freaks, which is just a fun time. So yes, I haven't seen some of his other movies like Day After Tomorrow or 2012 or 10,000 BC. Some of those don't, appeal to me. But I was amazed to find out that Roland Emmerich directed this. And again, I'm watching other people's reviews, and they're shitting on this movie. Why? Well, you see, also the same year, 3 months earlier, as a matter of fact, a little movie called Olympus Has Fallen came out. Yep. It's the exact same movie, minus the daughter, I think. I don't think there's a daughter in that one, but it's the exact same movie almost. And so, because that one came out first, that one got all the praise, and this one got the shaft. Why? Because Roland Emmerich directed it. And there are criticisms about this film I just don't get. Like, okay, so Joey King. Whenever I want to defend her acting, I point to The Conjuring and this movie. Because she's fantastic in this. And people are saying she's one of the worst parts. I think you need to you need to stop reviewing movies then, because you don't know what acting is. Apparently, she is fantastic in this film. I'm sorry, but she is. And then there's Channing Tatum's good. Jimmy Fox is the president. And here's a little tidbit: his wife is played by, I'm sorry if I butchered this name, Garcia Bovaes. It's not on here, of course. Little tidbit, they were actually on a TV show back in the day entitled The Jamie Foxx Show. And they were love interests. So the fact that they're playing husband and wife and that they're president and the first lady is amazing to me. And you have, you have Jason Clarke, Falk Henschel, who is you get a couple of Arrowverse, and I'll never stop calling it that, by the way. It's the Arrowverse, not the DC-verse, not the CW-verse, it's the Arrowverse, alright? So, you have a couple of Arrowverse actors in here. You have Falk Henschel, I'm pronouncing that name wrong, I'm sorry. He's one of the terrorists in this, but he played Carter Hall, a.k.a. Hawkman, in season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow. And then you have, I had to write the name down, I don't know his name, Patrick Sobangui, who plays another one of the terrorists here. But he plays Captain Singh, or now, is it it's, Singh on The Flash. So, there's that. You have Jimmy Simpson, who was in Stay Alive and Psych. You have Rachel Lefevre, who was in Big Wolf on Campus and the Twilight movies, the first 2 anyway. She plays the ex-wife of Channing Tatum. You have Maggie Gyllenhaal, who was in The Dark Knight and Donnie Darko. And you have Richard Jenkins, who was in The Cabin in the Woods. And you have James Woods. Whoo, piece of candy. Whoo, piece of candy. Whoo, piece of candy. And this has a bit of a connection to the previous movie I reviewed, Into the Blue. because you cast a guy who's so obviously the villain that you know he's gonna be the villain. He plays the head of the Secret Service, and these terrorist people come in, and you just, the way he acts, you just know, and it's James Woods. James Woods is good as a villain. I'm sorry, you know, John Carpenter's Vampires, anyone? He's a villain in that, right? I've never seen it, but I heard he's one of the best things about that movie. But pointing out a movie you haven't seen, that's a good one, Scotty. Anyway, it's obvious. I remember the first time I watched this, much like Into the Blue, I'm like, he did it. It's James Woods. He did it. And sure enough, he's the one behind it. It's this, they want to kill the president. And then eventually leave the lines. I think he ends up becoming president at one point, I think. But yeah, there's some good action in this. There's some good acting all around. I don't get to hate for this movie at all, man. I love this movie. First time I watched this movie, it blew me away. The action, the explosions. It's the same reason I don't get to hate for, like, Godzilla. Okay, I get to hate for Godzilla, but, like, for Independence Day and Stargate, they have great action set pieces, much like this film. And there's criticisms for that. They're like, you know, I've seen reviews where they're like, you know, when there's some funny lines in here, but when they're trying to be serious, that's when it's the worst. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? People in other reviews are like, oh, well, they should have just played it campy instead of trying to be serious, because when they try to be serious, that's the worst part. What? Excuse me? What? I'm sorry, but no. It does get very serious. And they even criticize one scene. I about threw the TV out the window. I gotta say, there's a couple of them. There's a few that make fun of this scene, and I just don't get it, alright? There's a scene where there's going to be payload dropped on the White House, ordered by the new president, who is the head of the Secret Service, I believe, at this point. Maybe it's Richard Jenkins at this point. I don't know. It's someone. The new president, maybe he's in on it too. Is that what it was? I don't know. But they're going to drop a payload on the White House. And so she takes the American flag because she's a flag twirler. And so she goes out there and she does it. And she saves the day, basically. I know it's cheesy for a 9 to 12-year-old girl, I don't know how old she was here, to come out and save the day with the American flag. But think about this. She is on the lawn of the fucking White House, waving the American flag. I'm all for patriotism, man. To me, that's not cheesy, that's patriotism. That's my flag, you know? That's my capital. That's my White House. That's my country, you know? USA. Okay, USA. America, you know? That screams, you know, to quote South Park, America, fuck yeah. You know, that, yeah. You know? But people say, oh, that's too cheesy. And they even point out her bad acting scenes as, oh, when she cries, that's the worst of her acting. Are you kidding me? That's the best. That's what she's best at. Think of another movie she did that same year. The Conjuring. She cried in that and she was fantastic. Ain't no criticism for that. You know, I'm sick of, you know, people calling her out for her performances. She can do some good work. This and The Conjuring prove that. But she's put in some gooey teenage bullshit like Slender Man or Wish Upon or Kissing Booth or whatever the fuck that was. And they're making a third one. I think that's what's called, The Kissing Booth. I don't know. But she is really good. And this is one of those movies she's really good in. I'm sorry, but she is. Everyone is good in this movie. From Channing Tatum to Jamie Foxx to James Woods to Richard Jenkins to everyone. Fantastic in this movie. I don't get the hate for this film. I think people, you know, watch this movie and say it's a Roland Emmerich movie, we have to hate this movie because it's Roland Emmerich and we hate everything Roland Emmerich does. So you gotta hate on it. And so they come up with these criticisms that make no sense to me, such as criticizing Joey King's acting, which is fantastic, criticizing the serious moments in this film. Are you kidding me? Saying it should be more campy. But here's the thing. If it was campy and cheesy throughout the entire film, you'd be bitching about that too. Because you need something to bitch about because it's Roland Emmerich. Roland Emmerich gets hated on. And it's not fair because he makes decent films. Stargate, Independence Day, Universal Soldier are all decent films. And I think 2012 is a decent film too. I'll never watch that because I don't like End of the World movies. But he makes decent films and you shit on them because of Godzilla. You hate on him because he made Godzilla, and to you, that's a big no-no. You know, that he made Godzilla, and you think that sucked. And it's not one of his best movies, to be sure, but it's not a bad movie to me. I still enjoy that film. I grew up with that film, all right? Sort of. I grew up with the cartoon. I didn't actually watch the movie until I was an adult. But I like that movie, all right? And I don't think that Roland Emmerich is a bad director. He has a style. And maybe you can get burnt out on it. Maybe that's your problem, is you get burnt out on his style. But I'm not. This was very good. This is a good movie, and you know what? To make my point, White House Down, it's going to the moon, baby. That's right, it gets a perfect score, and it goes to the moon, 10 out of 10. What can I say? I love this movie. I don't get to hate for it at all. It's fantastic. I have not said one really bad thing about it. I just say what other people criticize about it. I do not criticize it for that. Is there anything I would say that's negative about it? Maybe the dialogue at the beginning when they're in the car goes a little bit too long and but oh, here's one. Terrorists invade the White House, and your daughter's missing, and there's terrorists in the White House. So you call her cell phone so that she can get found. If she's hiding somewhere, right? You call her cell phone and she can get found by those terrorists, and they have you by the nutsack, my friend. Because now they have your daughter, and you have to give them the president because they have your daughter. That's the only criticism I have, is that kind of thinking. Where he's trying to call his daughter and he's not thinking, hey, what if they hear my daughter's phone, capture her, and then I'm screwed? You know? Yes, he doesn't have the president. He's not with the president yet. But still, there is something going on, something not good, which means you need to have a complete radio silence. That's my only negative. I think everything else is fantastic in this film. It's not really a negative, it's just a common sense thing. But yeah, 10 out of 10, to the moon. This movie goes. To the moon. To the moon! I think this is going to be one of the hardest rankings I've had to do. I said that with the horror one, because there's so many bad movies in that one, and there are so many good movies in this one, it's going to be hard to do. And I have never seen Showdown in Little Tokyo, which is the last one I have to do, and that'll be tomorrow, I think. So, this might be a hard ranking to do, but yes, like I said, to the moon. So what are your thoughts on White House Down? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you don't get to hate for Roland Emmerich, much like me. So, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.